definition that I used is a hypercarnivore. And this is a definition that is used by zoologists to denote a carnivore that consume 70% or more, 70 that is, or more of their food from animals. So that was my conclusion, that humans were hypercarnivores. And I think the main new thing that I brought, it's not completely new because other people did it as well, but not in such a scale, is to look at the body. Because the problem, first of all, let's define the problem. Let's define why paleoanthropologists think that we were flexible in our diet. So we were omnivores. So first of all, 75% of the mammals are omnivores, as the definition of omnivore, that somebody eat from more than one trophic level. So plants and animals in this case. And but that doesn't say anything about the quantity of plants and animals, or relative quantity, that these mammals eat. So yes, we are omnivores, but again, and also it turns out that most of the mammals, like 80% of them, are specialized. In other words, they are not generalists. They won't eat anything. They specialize in either plants or animals, and they complete their diet from either plants or animals. So humans, actually, the fact that we are omnivores does not mean that we are flexible. And I thought to myself, okay, the problem is that when you ask, or when people ask, what was the diet, they went immediately to paleoanthropologists. Unfortunately, these guys just don't have the tools to answer the question, but they don't know that they don't have the tools. So one tool, which actually is giving them the answer, is stable isotopes. The problem with stable isotopes, in which, by the way, most of the studies of stable isotopes show that humans were carnivores, but really top carnivores, until quite recently. And actually, when they moved from meat, they first of all moved to fish, and only then moved to plants, right at the end of the Paleolithic. So they come to them, they don't have, I mean, what you find in archaeological sites is a pile of bones and stone tools. And if you're lucky, you find some plant residues. But it doesn't tell you anything about the relative quantity. First of all, not all the remains of what they ate actually were in this place that you dig. And second of all, plants remains don't stay, are not discoverable easily, because they just disappear. So they actually tended to go to hunter-gatherer societies that they could see. So the main one being the Hadza, because the Hadza live in Tanzania. Tanzania is close to the equator. It's close to where human evolution, at least the early stage of human evolution, took place. Olduvai Gorge is in Tanzania. So they went to the Hadza, and the Hadza eat about 30–40% meat and 60% plants. Actually, quite a lot of it was actually honey. So I looked at that analogy, and it seems to me absolutely misleading in a very, very important way, because the large fauna that was present when humans evolved just is not there for the hunter to take. They just don't hunt any elephants, they don't hunt rhinos, they don't hunt hippos. And actually, even if they did, in early Paleolithic, there were many species of large animals. And today, we're only left to 3 or 4 of what is called mega herbivores. That's over 1,000 kilos. Anyway, the environment is not the same. The technology that they have is not the same. And I just been there last year, and you go from Ngorongoro to their area, and it's completely different. Ngorongoro is a savanna in a crater with many animals and very few plants to eat, in other words, like, because they are mostly, herbs. So there are many herbivores, but there are not many frugivores, for instance, in the savanna. So the environment is not the same, the technology is not the same, and the analogy is false, is faulty. So I said, where do I look? So I decided to look, first of all, into our body, because really the evolution happened, first of all, in our body, then in our behavior too, but in the body. So I was able to find quite a few, I don't remember, I think about 15 pieces of evidence that show that our evolution was towards carnivore. And the ones that I liked most are when other researchers compared omnivores or compared the other carnivores to us, and actually found out that we are in the same group with the carnivores. For instance, in stomach acidity, we even with the scavengers, so even more carnivore than the carnivore. But in fat cells distribution, in the weaning age, so that's the kind of evidence that I was looking for. And I listed them one by one and tried to group them into some groups in terms of the strengths of the evidence, like which ones are actually attesting to a change in the trophic level, and which ones are showing specialization, because that is quite important. If you see, for instance, let's say take gut morphology. So we have a long small intestine and a short large intestine. And this is the opposite of chimpanzee. So it shows actually a trend towards specialization. Yeah, because specialization is when you give up flexibility. Okay, and this is what actually this evolution caused. It caused us to give up flexibility to feed on a large quantity of fiber. Yeah, actually, most of the energy, the plant energy on the planet is stored in fiber. So a lot of animals, most animals, I don't know actually of one that's not, that rely on plants and make sure that they can utilize fiber. But we actually gave up that ability. So it meant that we actually specialized. And the third one, that was, like I said, the most convincing in my point of view, is that it put us in the same category as carnivores.